Hello children. In the previous session, you were told as how to study the subject geography and economics, and also you were given the question paper pattern. So now, as your board exams are approaching, I would like to give you exam tips. First, know the layout. Throughout your studies, you have been given a set of specimen papers, that is for unit test, terminal exam, prelims, etc., with the instructions similar to the SSC board question papers. Know your question paper layout. From that, you will know what type of questions are likely to be asked. Second thing I would like to tell you is how to interpret the questions. Questions are instructions that if you ignore any part of the question, you will lose marks. Like for example, sometimes if a question is asked in such a way that you feel that you do not know the answer properly, you write all the content that is given in the textbook and you forget to write the main point for which that question was asked. So this way you have written everything but you have not written the main point, you will lose your marks. So you might think that yes, I have written the answer in detail, I am going to get marks for it, and then finally you will see that you get only half mark or you might get only 1 mark, and the reason is because you have not read the instructions correctly. Pay attention to how many marks are given to the question. After that, answer the question in points and always use special geographical terms and examples. After interpreting the questions, plan your answers. So the next thing you should be doing is planning answers. There are basically 3 types of questions: long answer questions, which are usually of 4 marks, give reasons, and short answer questions, which are usually of 2 marks, and practical geography, which includes graphs, map reading and map filling. For 4 marks question, now only start planning, because planning will give a sensible sequence. It focuses on questions asked. It will help you to recall the study material and select it. Give reasons. While writing give reasons, be careful and keep in mind the reason that you have to write. Why that something happens. Include all the specific details as it leads to happening. Next is, see to that if you can draw diagrams, draw diagrams. Give examples. That will make your reason much better and will fetch you more marks or better marks. The third thing is, I would like to discuss about the graphs, the maps, the map filling and the map reading. These questions are for testing your skill. If you can read a map, you can travel anywhere in the world. Graphs, just a glance at it tells you all the statistical data that is required. And map reading, you have to know how to do map reading, and only if you know how to fill the map, then only you will be able to read the map. So that is why map reading and map filling goes hand in hand. Now children, let us see the technique of writing the question paper. The Geography Economics paper is of 40 marks board paper and 10 marks internal assessment. 10 marks internal assessment means 5 marks for the assignments. I am sure your teachers must have taken 5 assignments. Each assignment is 10 marks. So out of 50 marks, the 10 marks are converted to 5 marks. And the remaining 5 marks is your unit test marks plus your terminal marks plus your prelims. The total 100 marks is again converted to 5 marks. Now let us see how to solve the paper. Question number 1. Complete the sentences by choosing the correct alternative. The marks is 3. How to write this question? How to answer it so that you get full marks? Now this question has 3 alternatives, and if you see, the alternatives will be almost the same shade. So it's very difficult to choose the correct one. Let us take an example. Dash is the traditional industry of Jammu and Kashmir. The options given are handicraft, carpet making, decorative article, fruit processing. Almost the same, because all these industries are present in Jammu and Kashmir. So which one is the traditional one? So it is handicraft. So handicraft industry is the traditional industry of Jammu and Kashmir. So here you are going to underline handicraft industry. Please children, do not forget to underline your blanks. There are total 3 blanks. So leave one line after each blank so that it is very clear and easy for the examiner to correct the paper. The next is the sub part of question 1, that is match the following. In match the following, you have to again here divide the page into 2 parts, the left hand side and the right hand side. In your paper it will be given as column A and column B. The left hand side you copy it as it is in the same serial order, but the right hand side you have to choose the correct answer and write it according to the question. So this way neatly present your question number 1 and 3, 1A and B to achieve total 6 marks. I am sure children you will be able to do it. Geography is quite easy. Another thing I would like to even suggest to you is that if you read your textbook properly and you solve the exercises behind each and every lesson, I am sure you will be able to score the 6 marks. They will be mostly stressing on the exercises behind the lesson. Now let us shift to the next question. Question 2A part. Give geographical reasons. Any 2 out of 4. So there is an option of 2 and 4 questions will be given. Each answer will be 2 marks. So when you attempt this question, see to that you write the statement properly, clearly. Give one example to rationalize the point. Write precise reason for the given statement, at least 2 or maximum 4 points. Mostly try to write at least 4 points. Let us take an example. Agriculture is the main occupation in the Ganga plain. Now here the 4 highlighting points are that the Ganga plain consists of alluvium. The second is it is flat. Third is the climatic condition. And fourth is the availability of irrigation facilities. So let us see how this answer can be written. I have told you 4 key words, 4 basic points. So the answer is as follows. Point number 1. The Ganga belt is the world's most extensive plain of uninterrupted alluvium formed by the deposition of silt by the numerous rivers like the Ganga, Yamuna, Ghagra, Kosi, Chambal, etc. The alluvial soils which are given by these rivers to the land are fertile. Second point, as I told you, the plains are flat, so it is conducive for irrigation through canals, and the area is also rich in groundwater reserves. Third point, climate. Climate with adequate rainfall, mild winters and suitable temperatures in summer and the rainy season enable this region to grow a variety of crops, both rabi crops as well as kharif crops. Rabi crops like wheat, gram, barley, etc. While the kharif crops like rice, maize, bajra, jawar, cotton, jute, pulses, oilseeds, etc. And the last point, the irrigation facilities are widespread through canals and tube wells, enabling the crops like sugarcane, wheat, etc. to be grown over there. That is why agriculture is the main occupation in the Ganga plain. Now let us go to the next question, question 2B. Write short notes, 4 marks, any 2 out of 3. You have got 3 questions as an option and you have to solve any 2. While writing short notes, again be careful. Write the short note in points. If there is diagrams, draw diagrams. Underline important keywords, and usually short note is 1 page. So do not exceed more than 1 page. Do not exceed more than 4 points. If you feel yes, that question has many of points, club them together and make 4 major points. If you can give some subheadings, that will be better for your understanding and for the examiner to correct. Let us take the example of Aravalli Mountains. The Aravalli Mountains, they are the oldest, point number 1, oldest mountains in India, spreading southwest to northeast. Point number 2, the highest peak of the Aravalli Mountains is the Guru Shikhar. Point number 3, the Aravalli Hills have receded considerably due to the headwater erosion by the rivers Banas and river Luni. Point number 4, these hills form a major water divide between the drainage of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. They also separate the North Indian plain into the Ganga plain in the east and the Satluj plain in the west. So this way you can write these 4 points of the Aravalli Hills. But children, if you can supplement it with a diagram, just draw with the help of stencils, just drawing the outline map of India and showing Rajasthan and the Aravalli Mountains in Rajasthan, it will be more clear. The concept will be more clear to you and you will be able to understand much better. Now let us shift to question number 3. Now let us go to the next question, question 3. This question 3 is divided into 3 subparts, A, B and C. Question 3A is based on your 9th chapter from the geography textbook, Practical Geography. Draw the graph as per the statistical data given to you. But the question reads as follows. With the help of the given statistical data, prepare either it can be line graph, bar graph, divided rectangle or divided circle. It depends on what is asked. Whatever is asked, it will be asked for 2 marks. When you draw the graph with the given statistical data, read carefully the type of graph. Many a times, line graph is asked and children have drawn rectangle diagram, or a rectangle is asked and children have drawn bar diagram. So be careful. Read carefully the type of graph. Do not forget to write the title, the x-axis, the y-axis and the origin. Do not forget to write the scale of the map. Now just let us see how these diagrams can be drawn. Here are the simple line graph, the simple bar graph. Both these graphs are kept next to each other only to show you that both of these graphs require the x-axis, which is the horizontal line, and the y-axis, which is the vertical line. The x-axis and the y-axis intersect each other at a common point which is given by the letter O. Always along the x-axis, period is taken. That is, either it can be years or months. And along the y-axis, always the statistical data is taken, both in case of simple line graph as well as simple bar graph. So what is the difference? In line graph, as the name indicates, there are points which is joined together by a line, while in the bar graph, there are rectangular bars drawn to indicate that point. It tells you the volume very clearly, which cannot be seen as clearly in the line graph. Line graph is okay to understand about the slope, about whether it is steep growth, whether it is gentle growth, but in case of bar, it will tell us exactly what is the volume. Now let us go to the next type of graphs, that is the divided rectangle and the divided circle. For divided rectangle, here always the data which is given, the total should always be 100%. Here, every time you draw a divided rectangle, 1 centimeter is equal to 10%. The width of the divided rectangle remains the same. It is only the x-axis which is important and it has to be taken into consideration. Here, for divided rectangle, it always has to be 100%. while for divided circle it always has to be 360 degrees because it forms a circle and the central angles will be in relation to the percentage or whatever statistical data is given. So this way, children, there are only 4 graphs for you to practice, that is the simple line graph, the simple bar graph, the divided rectangle and the divided circle. Practice makes man perfect. So practice these diagrams to get full or to score full 2 marks. Let's go to the next question. Observe the given figure and answer the questions. This is very important. Here they are trying to test the skill of observation. Here there are 3 questions asked, out of which you have to solve any 2. I would advise all of you to solve all the 3 questions, because even if one is wrong, still you can get the marks for the other 2. Here is an example for you. When you are attempting this question, keep in mind that you should write the answers in complete sentence. Let us see how. The first question over here is, which state shares the land boundary with Afghanistan? Students usually write the answer as Jammu and Kashmir. What Jammu Kashmir? The answer is not understood because you have not written the question. So that is why you might lose your marks and get only half mark over here. Where your answer is correct, you could have scored full 1 mark, but you have not written it in complete sentence. So that is why you have to write the answer as the state of Jammu and Kashmir shares the boundary with Afghanistan. The next question is, name the countries in the north surrounded by Indian territory on their 3 sides. You can see very clearly in the map, the countries surrounded by the Indian territory on the 3 sides are Nepal and Bhutan. But sometimes children have not read that north very clearly, and so they include even Bangladesh in it. So the examiner knows that they have not read properly and you lose your marks. So read the question carefully. Check out the keyword in that particular question to give key answers, to score full marks. Next, which country in the east does India share maritime boundaries? So here India shares maritime boundaries with Bangladesh and Myanmar. Sometimes children do not see again that direction given as east. They feel maritime boundaries, no? Yes. Then they write all. Pakistan, yes, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and then they have left the answer, they have left the option for the examiner to correct, which is correct and give the marks, which the examiner will not do. So read what was the keyword over here? East. So you had to write only 2 countries. One was Bangladesh and the other was Myanmar. So this way in your textbook there are almost 25 to 30 such maps and diagrams. Children, please practice reading every diagram, and that will help you to score these 2 marks very easily. Let's go to the next question, the last part or the last sub question of question 3. Mark and name the given data on an outline map of India given to you. You are already given this map and a proper index. In the SSC board, the index is given ready-made. You have to only fill the index with proper signs and symbols. Again over here, children, please see to that you read the question carefully and you use proper signs and symbols. I would just like to tell you something which will help you in really filling up the map properly. Usually, when the map is filled, there are main 3 types. One is you can fill it up with a line. Second is you can fill it up with a shaded area. Third is either a pinpointing triangle or a dot, somewhere like this. Here is an example for you. The highest peak of India. So we know the highest peak of India is the K2 peak. So you can see that it is serial number 1. You can see in the map where in the SSC board that 1 number is given. You can see a triangle is drawn over there to indicate the peak. That is a correct symbol to show for a peak of a mountain. And you can see where it is located, there also number 1 is written. So this has to be coordinated very well. Second is the river Brahmaputra. Children feel River Brahmaputra means it exists only in India. No, it flows even through Tibet and then it enters India. It starts at Manasarovar. So you have to show from where it starts, how it enters into India through Arunachal Pradesh, flows through Assam and then goes into the Bay of Bengal. So the whole route along with the direction. Don't show opposite direction. You have to show going from Himalayas to Bay of Bengal. Be very careful. You know, some children, they just want to, and otherwise there are children who will just draw a straight line and they think, yes, let the examiner understand whether it is two-way or one-way traffic. So be careful, children. You have to be very, very clear when you draw the diagrams. Next is Asia's biggest agricultural university. Now your direct question is not asked, but here you have to mention Asia's biggest agricultural university. Which chapter you have studied, you will have to recollect it. Then you, once you recollect, then you come to know, oh, this is in the Punjab Haryana plains. That means it is either in Punjab or it is in Haryana. If you have studied properly, you know it is in Haryana. And again, if you have studied more in detail, you will know that it is in Hisar. So this is the way you are supposed to mark. And can you see that on the map it is shown Hisar. The number 3 is shown in Haryana at the place Hisar. So this is the way how to correlate your question, your answer and your plotting. It all goes hand in hand. And there are sometimes direct question asked. The two direct question asked in this questions were River Brahmaputra and Marusthali. Marusthali, it is a desert region in Rajasthan. So this is a region. So can you see it has occupied a particular area? So that is why the maps are drawn in 3 ways. Either by the line like River Brahmaputra, or by a dot like Hisar, or by a triangle, small triangle, that is a peak, or by a shaded area, that is Marusthali. So children, when you practice, please practice it in this manner. There is no other way to show the maps. This is the way you should be ready for your 10th standard filling up of map. Now let's go to the next question. Question number 4. Answer in detail. 4 marks. 3 questions. Any 2 out of 3. Out of 28 marks in geography, 8 marks are here. So you can, if you get that 8 marks, can you imagine? You can get full 28 out of 28. So that can be your score. So let us see how to write this answer. When this question is given, read the question, take a deep breath, recollect the whole thing and then start writing. If it's a very long question, you have to, that is why in the beginning only I told you planning answers. If you remember, I told you planning answer, 4 marks question. Yes, you have to give it a proper sensible sequence and it has to be focused totally on the question that has been asked to you. So recall it in that manner only. Give subheadings, draw diagram. Let us take one example. What are the natural hazards experienced in the Rajasthan desert? Natural hazards. So how do we start this answer? Point number 1. First I would like to introduce. Introduction is very important. Like any geographical region, the Rajasthan desert too experiences natural hazards. If you see in your textbook, it is totally a paragraph. But here I'll show you how I have developed this paragraph into points. I have taken 4 points. I have made that small paragraph into 4 points where I can score 4 marks. So which are my 4 points for these natural hazards? Even for me to recollect it is easy. First is water scarcity. Second is drought conditions. Third is strong winds and hot dust storms. And fourth is expansion of deserts. Now all these are the keywords from the sentences that I have taken. So let me start the first point. Water scarcity. The rainfall received here is very scanty and uncertain. It is around 100 to 250 millimeter annually, so less. The variability of rainfall from year to year is very high. Some parts of Jaisalmer don't get rain. Even today they have not got rain. Imagine. All this results in what? The water scarcity throughout the year. That is why the point was water scarcity. Second is drought. As 4 out of every 10 years on an average are drought years. Agriculture is extremely precarious here. Then comes your strong winds and hot dust storms. Strong winds blow for 4 to 5 months in a year over a large part of the desert region. It is also mentioned in the beginning near the climate where you are studying about the climate that the speed of the wind is 30 kilometers per hour. So that is why you can well imagine if someone is speeding in that speed, then you know there can be accidents. So here the whole wind is only blowing with 30 kilometers per hour, and so what happens is lot of sand which is present over there, it is scattered everywhere. Another thing, there is hot dust storms during summer which is called Andhi, and it is very destructive. It destroys everything. Suppose for example there is agriculture done somehow or the other in that particular area, because of this Andhi, in just few seconds the whole area is covered by sand. So that is why it is a natural hazard. And the last part is expansion of desert. Because of water scarcity, because of strong winds and the hot dust storms, the sand particles spread everywhere in the surrounding region due to the winds, causing the agricultural land to shrink and the desert to expand. So these are the 4 natural hazards caused by natural factors that is affecting Rajasthan. And Rajasthan, which was once upon a time had a marine environment, today it is a desert. So this is the way you write the first question. And what I would do if I would have been in your place, I would have supplemented it with a outline map of India showing Rajasthan, and around Rajasthan I would have shown 4 circles and I would have written these 4 subpoints filling up in those circles, that is water scarcity, drought, strong winds and hot dust storms, and expansion of desert. So this is the way, children, you have to attempt your question number 4. It is approximately 1.5 page, and if you draw a diagram means it is 2 pages. 2 pages means 1 page 2 sides. So if you write it in this manner in points, I am sure you will score 4 out of 4. And if you solve both the questions, so it will be 8 out of 8, and that is how you can score 28 marks in geography without any problem. Now let us go to the next part, that is economics. Question number 5. Economics has question number 5, 6 and 7. Question number 5. Complete and write given statements by choosing the appropriate alternative from those given. There is 2 marks for this question. Now let us see the first fill in the blank as an example. In the dash technique, there is more use of machinery than labor. So here the answer is the capital intensive technique. So you have to underline the word capital intensive. As I have already told in question number 1 that you should be underlining, choosing the correct alternative. Don't scratch, don't scribble. You can cut out the whole statement and rewrite the whole statement, because it makes the paper very dirty, and even it tells the examiner something that might be you are trying to copy, or might be you are not confident, because this is how it can be just not taken into consideration. Let's go to the next question. Question number 6. Answer questions in 1 or 2 sentences each. Here there are 5 questions and you have to answer any 3, and the marks are 6. For example, what are the main causes of inflation? Here the answer is direct. The main causes of inflation are increase in the demand for goods and services and decrease in the supply of goods and services. Now when you write this answer, don't write the way I spoke just now. It should be the main causes of inflation are point A or point 1, increase in the demand for goods and services, point 2, decrease in the supply of goods and services. Write 2 points so that you can, each point carries 1 mark. Next question, I would like to take one more example. What is mixed economy? Many times children just write mixed economy. Mixed economy means coexistence of the public and the private sector, and they expect 2 marks. No, you will not get 2 marks. You will get only 1 mark. Why? Because here you have to tell what is the private economy and what is the private sector and what is the public sector. So your answer goes this way, that mixed economy is the coexistence of public and private sector. Point number 2, this means the means of production are owned and managed by the government in the public sector and by individuals in the private sector. So this way you have to give 2 points. So see to that for question number 6, children, though it is very clearly mentioned 1 or 2 sentences. Yes, if it is just not possible for you to write the second sentence, which is not going to happen, because if you read your textbook properly, you will get 2 sentences, and that is why again I am going back to planning of answers. You have to plan your answers. You have to really read and write your answers. Only then will you get your points, and you will not stop at 1 or 2 points. You can always keep adding, but don't forget the main point. The last, answer questions in 5 to 6 sentences. Here 2 questions are given, and there are 4 marks for it. These questions will be basically from chapter number 3 and chapter number 4, which is very much applicable to your daily life. That is the public distribution system and the consumer protection and inflation. So these are the 2 main chapters which you should be really reading it in detail and practicing long answers. Here also, children, when you attempt this question, see to that you write it in points. Make subheadings, underline the subheadings and give the description. Let it all be exactly from the textbook. Do not try to use your words. If the meaning changes, your answer will also change. So that is why please read your textbook properly. An example for this question is, what are the rights of consumers? On purpose I have taken this question because this question has 7 points. Here you can get, if you write any 4 points correctly, you can get 4 marks. So you don't now, listening to me and after seeing this CD, don't now learn only 4 points. Learn all the 7 points. It is better to learn all 7 and let the examiner choose and give you your full 4 marks. What are the rights of the consumers? There are 7 rights. That is right to safety, right to information, right to choose, right to be heard, right to seek redressal, right to consumer education, and right to a clean environment. Here I have just stated the points. These are statements. I have to even give the description of these points. Only then will I score marks, which is there in your textbook. Refer to your textbook and learn it thoroughly. Okay, children. So we have just now seen 28 marks of geography and 12 marks of economics. The technique as how to solve the paper to score good marks, better marks or full marks. Everything is in your hands. Before that, let us even see about the time management. Question number 1, which is of 6 marks, objective type of question. You can take 10 minutes for that. Question number 2, which is of 8 marks, where you have to think, you have to write. Each question will have at least minimum 2 points, maximum 4 points. So you have to write 4 questions, 4 points each, means you are writing 16 points. So you can take 10 minutes. You can even extend it to 15 minutes, because once you start recollecting, the time requirement becomes less because there is a flow of knowledge at that time. Question number 3, that is your practical geography, map filling, graph drawing and map reading. This will take you approximately 15 minutes because you have to think, draw properly, do not be untidy, and that is why it is 15 minutes. Then question number 4, the long answer question, where you can score full marks because you have to write everything from the textbook, supplementing it with diagrams. So for that you can take 15 to 20 minutes. Then comes your question number 5, 6 and 7, which is economics. So for economics, question number 5, there are 2 fill in the blanks. Here you can take 10 to 15 minutes. Though it is 2 fill in the blanks, you have to really think. Then comes your question number 6, where you can take, actually it should be question number 5. Sir, I think so we'll have to cut short over here. कारण का इथे changes आहे sir. I'm starting again with economics. चालेल का? Now let us go to economics. Question number 5 is fill in the blanks. So it will require, there are only 2 fill in the blanks, so you will require only 5 minutes for writing and underlining the answer. Question number 6, you have to attempt 3 questions, 2 points each. So it will be 6 square points, so you can take 20 minutes of there because you have to use exact words from the textbook. Question number 7, again a long answer question, which is of 4 marks. You will require 10 minutes because it is only one question and you have to write only 4 points, but detail exactly the words from the textbook. So children, we have used 85 minutes out of 120 because the paper is of 2 hours. So it is 120 minutes. We have used 85 minutes for solving the paper. So we are having 15 minutes in our hand. What more do you require? Where you can reread the whole answer paper, underline the important words, draw diagrams wherever required. When you draw diagrams, see to that you label the diagrams. Now here in geography, what diagrams will you draw? You will draw only the maps. So don't forget to show the north direction. Don't forget to label. Suppose it is the minerals in a particular place. Don't forget to label the place and in bracket write which mineral is available over there. Or it can be animals, or it can be the forest. So whatever you show in the diagram, please see to that you label. Don't leave the diagram without labeling because it will not be taken into consideration if you have drawn the diagram and you have not labeled it, because the examiner will not understand that what you have tried to do over there. So that is why children, I am sure you will be able to now write your paper better and score good marks. Wish you all the best. God bless you. Thank you children.